news in this video was brought to you by Noir, maker of the most innovative, most accurate, and most effective bullets and ammunition in the industry.
The Taurus GX4 XL Toro. So, off the bat, this is a cheap gun. This gun is like in a range of like $350. I've seen it online somewhere for like $270, which is insane because this gun, honestly, feels like a $600 gun. I know people are gonna rake me in the comments for it, but it's just the God honest truth. And here's why. So this is kind of sort of my first time shooting this gun. I shot a little bit off camera, but in the time that I've shot off camera, this gun has honestly really impressed me. Let's start with the looks. So looks-wise, it's very reminiscent of like a Glock 26-ish, but a skinnier version of it, but then has its own kind of unique flair. It's really angular, there's a lot of lines going everywhere. You have these lines kind of going here, meeting up here, creating this apex point there, and then you have this grip texture, which I absolutely really like. I kind of like this like sandpaper grip texture. I've always been a fan of that. And then just the overall feel of the gun. There is a version of this gun that has a smaller barrel. It's like the original GX4, and this is like the XL version, so it has a longer slide with a shorter grip. We all know how I typically feel about that type of setup, but here doesn't really bother me. And I think it more or less bothers me on bigger guns when it does that. Because in my time shooting this gun off camera, before shooting it right now, I gotta say, I don't really much notice the barrel length at all. But from a look standpoint, I actually really like the gun. It's not beautiful, but it's a cool looking gun, especially from what I'm used to coming from Taurus. First gun I ever shot was a Taurus PT 1 million or 1,000 million, I don't remember the name. It was the first gun I shot. Wasn't the prettiest gun in the world, but you know, it was one of those cheap, affordable guns that people like to buy because it just kind of did what it did. This gun, on the other hand, is a little bit different. I think this gun, from a look standpoint, gives you a lot more than what you're paying for from an aesthetic standpoint. First thing is the way this gun recoils. For the size of this gun, this is clearly a concealed carry focused firearm. It's not a gun designed to be like a bedside gun and so forth and so on. It is a concealed carry gun, and it feels that way, but the ergonomics of this gun in my hand feel great. Now, I have to play around a little bit with the back straps. It comes with I think three different back straps. You got a small, medium, and a large. The small was, I have these weird hobbit hands as normal. But the thing about my hands, I have a really beefy kind of palm here. So with the smaller grip for me, I didn't like how close it was getting to the magazine release under recoil, because it ever so often would cause the magazine to release. I switched it out, put the bigger back strap on it, and largely I haven't really had to deal with that at all, because it just ergonomically, as you can see, just fits my hand a lot better than the smaller one, compared to the smaller one with the larger one. So for those getting this gun, I would definitely try shooting it with the different back straps. But from an ergonomic standpoint and a recoil standpoint, the gun really recoils quite softly considering how small the gun actually is. Like, it doesn't, like I brace for it like it's gonna really hit hard, but it really doesn't. It just kind of comes on and then goes off. And so for me, from a concealed carry gun standpoint, I think that's pretty dope, especially one that costs this much. Well, this least, I guess is a better way to put it.
Watching this video, a word from our sponsor. Have you ever thought about making a living in the firearms industry? If you enjoy gun repair, ballistics, and learning about firearms, Sonoran Desert Institute's online courses might just be a good fit for you. To find out more, visit sdi.edu or call 480-999-4767 today.
But, you know, like if we it doesn't, it's not jumping all over the place. It's easily manageable. And even if I wanted to do something like just like double taps, like it's like, I mean, think about that. That's kind of perfect if you really think about it. So from a sight standpoint, on its face, when I look at them, there's nothing to write home about. They're not that awesome. But when you're shooting it, it does actually a pretty damn good job. I actually think they're better than the standard Glock sights. I think these sights actually look more expensive and feel more expensive and function better than the typical standard Glock sights that you normally get. I don't feel the need to kind of just want to rip these off and then throw them away and change them up. But this gun is the Toro version. So with the Toro version, you also get this magazine, you get this ability to run a red dot on it. Me personally, I like red dots on my gun now. I've kind of crossed over. However, when it comes to smaller concealed carry guns, I'm not quite there 100%. And the reason why is because the smaller dots, I think they just kind of create a funnel for me. And I don't like how small the window is. So sometimes I run them, sometimes I don't. In this case, I haven't put one on because again, the options available for this particular gun, I'm not the biggest fan of from a optics standpoint. That being said, let's talk about this trigger. So the trigger right now it's like a little fatty trigger. And at the same time, it seems rather inviting. It has your kind of your typical polymer. You know, you got your trigger and then you got the blade in the middle as the safety. And the trigger is actually pretty damn good. Right there, like that's my wall right here. And it's clean, that's really clean. And bang, and then you have the resets right there. So even the one hand shooting, back on the trigger, just like that. Boom, boom, boom. Like, I guess that's a $300 gun, folks, with a trigger that feels better, honestly, personally to me, than most stock Glock triggers. Also, one of the things about this gun too is, I mean, you got the magazine capacity. So it is a concealed carry gun, and nowadays everybody's coming out with their own small, high capacity guns. This is no different. The flush magazine is gonna give you 11 rounds. 11 plus 1, that's 12 rounds in a gun this size, which I think is pretty awesome. And then on top of that, you have it comes with this extended mag. It comes with the mag with an extended base plate. An extended base plate gives you +2. So now you're looking at 13 plus 1. So that's 14 rounds in a gun this size. That's pretty damn substantial. And again, I keep reiterating the fact, I mean, it's a $300 gun. So I feel like this Taurus GX4 XL Toro, God, I hate saying that, so annoying. But it's a $300 gun that feels like a $600 gun. I mean, of course you are lacking, you know, the ability to run a light on it. So if that's something that you absolutely want to do, you might have a problem with that because you can't really necessarily do that. But this is a concealed deep carry kind of focused firearm. So it's not designed to be kind of completely tacked out, but I mean, you still get the ability to run a red dot. You get a substantial capacity. You have a really nice trigger. You have a gun that to me looks good. It's a good looking gun. I mean, it doesn't look like a cheap gun to me. Some guns in this price point can look kind of rather cheap sometimes. But by and large, I'm kind of really smitten with this GX4 XL. It's just one of those guns that you don't really see coming. And then you see it and then you shoot it and you're like, damn, that's actually a damn good gun. And I've actually given this gun to a number of people to shoot. And, you know, they were like, oh, it's a Taurus? Okay. But then after shooting it, they're like, actually, this gun is actually really good. So at bare minimum, I think if you have the opportunity to go out and go to range and shoot it, just shoot it. You may walk away kind of surprised with what you think, because Lord knows I was. Even Peter shot the damn thing and was like, oh, this is actually pretty damn nice. Unfortunately, Taurus has a reputation that has kind of made people underestimate it to a degree, but I guess they're doing new things now and really kind of trying to step up their game in terms of quality while still maintaining a great price point for a lot of people. So, I mean, there's nothing I can say bad about the gun other than the fact that maybe there's no light. And then that it can be a little picky in terms of backstrap usage, depending on how your hands are. Other than that, I would go out and shoot it and just see. Taurus GX4 XL Turo. I forgot what the acronym means. I think it's like Taurus Optics Ready Option Sight. Something silly, I don't know. But there you have it.
Guns aren't political. That's why I need your help getting this message to spread on YouTube by clicking the thumbs up button, leaving a comment to let me know what you think of the video, then subscribing to the channel. But most importantly, click that bell symbol. For products featured in this video, click the links in the description.